In this session, we're going to talk about the importance of having data displayed on screen, since it's something you'll need quite often. We'll show you two ways of fetching data to display on a screen, directly from the database or from other sources, for other advanced cases. Then, we'll introduce you to how we can display the data we fetched on the screen, using some built-in widgets. Most applications that we use and create often need to display data on its screens, whether it's data that is persisted on the database or that lives in other external systems. This data can be displayed on screen in multiple formats, as well as with multiple looks and feels. In OutSystems, there are several screen widgets we can use to display that data. Before actually displaying the data, we need to fetch it from a data source. Essentially, there are two ways to fetch data to be used in a screen. The first one is by using screen aggregates, and the second is through data actions. Both types of data sources can be added to screens using the right-click context menu options. To fetch data directly from the database, we define screen aggregates. These aggregates can be visually defined just like any other aggregate, but they will only be available within the scope of the screen, as well as its result with the data fetched from the database. This is a quite easy way to get the data we need to display on our screens. Regarding data actions, these can be used for more advanced scenarios. You can define custom server-side logic inside data actions. This will allow calling external REST web services or executing advanced SQL queries. The outputs of this data action can then be used in the screen widgets. The aggregates and data actions live directly on the screen, which raises the question: when is the data fetched? By default, aggregates and data actions are triggered automatically, and they start executing when the screen starts being initialized. The aggregates and actions run asynchronously, and when there's more than one, they run in parallel. When the data is available, the aggregate or data action finishes its execution, the screen renders automatically and displays the returned data. With multiple aggregates and actions, this happens every time new data is available. Having the data available, we need to display it on the screen. To accomplish that, we use widgets. In this example, we have information about employees being presented in different ways. In Service Studio, we can see the screen preview with multiple widgets being used. For instance, to display all the employees, we have a list. And to display the name of the employee, we have an expression. Now that we have the data and the widgets, we need to understand how to bind them together, so when the screen renders, the widget knows which data to display. To display sets of data, for instance with a list or a table, the widgets have a source property, which expects a list with the data to be displayed. Here, we can directly use the result of the aggregate or the output of the data action. In this example, we are using the list result of the getEmployees aggregate. To display a specific attribute of a record, such as the name of an employee, we can use, for instance, expressions. In that case, the value property needs to have the specific attribute that we want to display. In this example, we chose the name of an employee from the list fetched from the database. With a combination of the same or different widgets, we can then display multiple types of information in multiple ways.